Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
Today we're going to discuss on how to work on talent pipeline. You are aware of what exactly is talent pipeline? Yes is the different state was that candidate has to pass. What is your process? In normally the Normally in a talent, you don't have any limits on number of steps to be created. You can create a number of steps and also you can create a number of talent pipelines. No limit on talent pipelines. But the talent pipeline, I'm curious because I know there is some status by default. Yes, we will come to that. The first important thing is talent pipeline. Without talent pipeline, you won't be able to import any XMLs. You have to start working from talent pipeline in the first place. Creating a talent pipeline. You can create a number of talent pipelines. Second thing is you can use only one talent pipeline at a time. All the word positions right. At a time means one application. We are going to tag talent pipeline to these XMLs. See, for that, only one can be used at a time. If I am using one job requisition, only one application I can tag to it, only one talent pipeline I can tag to it. But I can have different pipelines for different job requisitions, right? Yes, if you want to have a different pipeline, then you should have a different XML for it. I mean, you need to create another one. And quick question. For example, if I create I don't know like one, because in the first year I didn't need another one. Can I create, like in the next years, another new talent pipeline and it won't cause any issue? Yes, Here I'm just showing. See here, this one requisition I have that is called as basic job requisition, right? And here I can tag only one application template for it, right? Application template is different. Application template is not related to the job application. If you click in general settings, no, that is different. What I'm trying to tell you is, for this requisition, I can have only one application tag to it, right? I cannot tag to multiple applications. There are multiple applications in the system. I can see that there are 3 different applications in the system, but I can use only one at a time. But yes, I see that But that is not the talent pipeline that we are talking about. No, I will come to this picture. I'll just go step by step that you understand in a better way. This is one job requisition. You can tag only one application. And to that application, there is only one tag in pipeline is involved in that. Basically, what happens is job requisition can be only one application. I can set only one at a time. There might be multiple status set, but it's of no use, but I need only one. I'll be able to use only one status set. You got the concept right. For one requisition, there can be only one application, one tag in pipeline. If you want, for the same job application and for the same requisition, you want to have a different type pipeline. That means what you can do is, as an alternative way, you can copy those requisitions, copy the application. You can give a different name to it and then tag another time. But then you have to duplicate it. It's a workaround. Now coming back to talent pipeline. How do we create this talent pipeline? Here I can see many talent pipelines is there. There is something called as this it is set. You know what is the difference between status and the status set? I think that this is individually, and I started to say this is like a group. A group of interview can have like different status, but it's the same. No, not exactly. Status means there can be any status. It can be phone status or interview status. It is group of status is called a status set. This is status set. I'm going to create one status set for you. This is called a status set. We are going to tag in a requisition application, right? We are going to use this name. What are we? What are we doing? The sample status I have given, right? I will be using that name to tag it in the requisition and application. Now what is status? Status is this one. Forward is a status. Default is a status. Requisition closed. Higher down other. These are the status. What is status set? The whole group together is. This is called a status set. I'm naming the I'm naming this as a status set sample status. This is a status set group of status. Status is called as status set. And those are like the default ones. Like for example, when you create a new status, this is automatically pulled. We will come to that. Now you understand what is status and what is status set. Next part is how to add a status to this status set. For example, normally a BC company has one status set. One phone interview and a drone interview. Different. They want it. These are different statuses. They have the requirement. I need to create it. I'm going to give the name and guess it is. What I will do is I'll just create a state. I'll name it. What I have created. A, B, C statuses are created. What is status? Set group of status. I clicked on it. In big, there is already few status. I can see here. These one, you cannot remove or do anything. These are all by default. It will comes. But you can rename it. What exactly is forward status? Foreign status is somewhere like somebody forwards to it from one requisition to another requisition. Invited to apply is inside the requisition. You have one button right. Invited to upgrade. That's status. It is default is a 1. It is the first status. What we use? We can rename it based on the grant requirement. Auto disqualified is something that there are questions involved in the job application. For example, we will do the first screening before applying for a job. Like, are you able 18 years that you can work here in this company? If it says no, we will mark it as a default questionnaire. If the answer is wrong, then automatically the candidate will come to this auto disqualified. The position closed is some happens when no closer acquisition. It would come and fall into this status. I had on requisition. You can grab the candidate and put it here if it's hired in a different requisition. Dig it on demand by candidate. If the candidate applies for a job and he prefers not to proceed further, if he cancels it, then we come to the status. If the candidate's not to proceed further, if he can get calls and says that I don't want to proceed further, admin can go and do it. That is, it can get a privacy control center. There is a data privacy when a candidate is up and for a job or it creates a profile. There is a data privacy statement which shows if the candidate sees that he's not agreeing for it, he says, then the candidate will come in false in the status. Withdrawn by a candidate. For example, I have applied for this job. I don't want to proceed for this job. I have one other. I saw another requisition which is more relevant for me. I'm going to withdraw it. If I withdraw, this candidate comes in false in the status. These are the default status which is there in the system already by default. Success factors. No, I won't. Sorry, just a quick question because I'm not pretty sure. What is the difference between, for example, a closed like MOF, a candidate to status that are in the category closed, for example, hire on another requisition and withdrawal? You know what I mean? Hire on another requisition. These are, for instance, I'm a recruiter who is working in A, B, C company. I have scheduled an interview and I have added one candidate for the job opening. Interview process is going on. Parallelly, that candidate is giving interview to another recruiter in the same company for a different requisition for a different role. And same time, the candidate can give multiple interviews in the same company, right? For different roles. If he gets selected in one of the roles, the recruiter can go and put it in a status which says he is already hired in another requisition. Basically, these are just different statuses based on the requirement. It will go and fall into different things, which is this comes by default, like whenever we enable recruiting. These things will be there by default. Now the question is, these are by default. Now I want to add the kind requirement statuses. Kind wants phone interview, video interview, line manager interview. How to add this? In order to add that status, first thing we need to add it in the base. How to add it in a base? We need a provision access for it. Since I don't have it, this is a provision access. There is something called as application status configuration inside the provision. You are going to click on it. If you like, let me just take a better picture. It's not because it's not clear what it said. I can log in and I can send the picture in this chat. We can work from that. Once. But for example, for this status that you would like to create like an interview, phone and on, is not a way that I can create it from the user interface. You can create a status, but you cannot create a primary status. Primary initial thing. You have to add it in the provisioning world because I need this for the first time. You need to add it from the provisioning. What I'm doing for the first time, second time I can create from here on. I can create another status from here. I can add it because once I add it in the provisioning here, it will be visible. I can go on and add it directly, but for the first time I need to add it from the backend provisioning. How to create a talent pipeline? I just showed you. There are two ways to create a talent pipeline. This is from UI from Admin Center. Second thing is provisioning. Quick question. For example, if I need to, I don't know, because of the recruiting process, now I need a new status or yes, a new status that must need to be required. In that case, should I just update the current talent pipeline or should I create? What is the best practice? Best practice is, if there is an addition, you can go ahead and add it and status. It's not going to affect you, which is already done. and that in the same which is already present. Which is already present, which is already there, which are already working on. You have all considered that you already tagged the acquisition, that you are already started hiring candidates and all. Then the person comes back from then the client come back and say we need another status. That time you can go ahead and can add a new status. That's not going to affect you. But you cannot remove it. Consider no. It's going to throw an error. It's already present in the system and candidates would have already been present, right? It's not a best practice to remove it. If I need to remove one status, the best practice should be like create another pipeline and assign to a new requisition, and it starts to launch that requisition instead of the old one, right? This is a best practice. There is another alternative way. You can remove the permission for the status. They can see that probably it will be visible, but they cannot do anything because it will be grayed out for them. Coming back to this, first we need to create a target pipeline. There are two ways to create a target pipeline. One is front end and the second one is provisioning. Front end, I can go and create it, but for the first time when I'm creating a new in progress status, it needs to be added some provisioning. And from UI, you can go ahead and once you already have once your base sets are set, you can add it from the UI, any number of status. Because your base sets are already present. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.